Would it be better to have
Not-
knowledge, or I think the big problem is we've turned schools into no gun areas. And when you think about if somebody is going to do something nutty like that, where are they going to go to first to do something like that? Are they going to go to a place where guns are allowed, or are they going to go to a place where you don't know whether there are guns or not? So
I understand. I hear that argument.
Yeah, I would even argue that not just having it known that these teachers are, or this person in this uniform is. I think it would be better if there was just a knowledge there that there may be people here.
Let me
who
tell you
are
something.
armed.
Two things.
And it wouldn't be such a ripe target.
Two things. The first is that unless you've shot at people,
Yeah.
it's a really hard thing to do. I don't know anyone in the school other than myself who's actually shot at people. Number one, it's a really difficult thing to do.
That's why I assume it would
It's
be veterans.
harrowing.
Yeah, it would be people with
It's
experience
harrowing
already.
to shoot at someone knowing that you're going to take their life, or you're going to try to take their life. It's harrowing. I don't think teachers are in a position to even think that way.
Not the average teacher. No,
Yeah.
you're right. It would have to be
So-
somebody who's already had that experience.
And as to your question, your idea of like, perhaps, I think you were intimating that we might do kind of a secret thing here in school with
Well-
just some of us.
Just not identifying specifically, just
Yeah.
that person in that uniform is the only one who has a gun, because that makes it, again, not as much of
Well,
a deterrent.
I know.
And again, I
I
get
don't
back
know.
to the political implications of raising that as a question immediately. Why is that such a hot topic? Because I think it.
Well, it's
for
a
one-
hot
for
topic
one
because
branch of-
people are walking into schools and these
Well-
beautiful people here are being
Right, but
dropped on the ground.
but has the incident?
Why is that a hot topic?
It is a hot topic. It's in the press. It's very much in the
Yeah.
everywhere. But is the frequency of these kinds of attacks, has it escalated over the last 20 years?
Look,
There's a recent study that says that it hasn't really escalated. It is a terrible thing every time it happens. But
Richards,
it gives
if I may say,
it gives one political party a
the free-
lot of airtime.
one dead 14-year-old at the hands of a gun
Absolutely,
is
absolutely.
one too many.
Absolutely.
Never mind 20
I'm not dismissing that at all.
first graders in Connecticut and et cetera, et cetera. It's like,
I'm not dismissing that at all. But I'm just
by
saying
the way,
why it's
and
a topic,
here's the
that's
other
all.
problem. We are the only modern Western industrialized nation that suffers this particular
No,
problem.
that's not true.
That is absolutely true. Have there been shootings in other places?
been mass shootings in
Absolutely,
other places, yeah.
absolutely. But
We're
I'm saying
somewhere
not on a
in the-
regular basis. People
Yeah.
that put in things into place to mitigate that possibility, and they have been very successful.
Yeah,
the United
depending-
States has not done anything to mitigate this stuff, and therefore we have something like over 500 shootings have taken place since the Connecticut shooting, where those 20 first graders were
No,
shot
no.
5
Easy-
years ago.
Easy with your stats there, man. If you look at
They're,
international,
by the way, we're talking about like single shot. I'm not talking about shootings like a lot of people, where guns were introduced into a school and at least one shot went off. You look up the stats.
I have, and you'll find. Of course, you can get stats to say anything you want them to say, but if you look at, you talked about us versus the rest of the world. We don't have the most mass per capita. I'm talking about. We don't have the kind of.
Are you trying
talking
to say because there are wars in like the
No.
Congo? I'm talking about
walking in
modern
public
Western
places.
industrialized nations.
Yeah,
Canada, Japan,
we're somewhere between France
Western
and
Europe.
Canada. We're somewhere between France and Canada.
Somewhere between France and Canada.
Yeah, that's where we are in the world.
There are more killings in Canada per capita
In France,
in France. Well, that's news to me.
mass shootings in France. Yeah.
Now, that's news to me. Well, let's say that you're right. So what? One more dead teenager, or one more dead
Yeah, but again,
first grader, one more dead teacher, coach.
Right, but
forget about it.
I've often found that having a discussion to try to keep the emotion out
Yeah,
of it.
I'm sorry. That I can't help. The
And I agree
idea
that
of
they are terrible. Every single one is
if
terrible.
you
But
have
if you want to have
yeah.
some policy discussions, you can't go off on a.
It's hard not to be emotional. When you
Emotional
have seen people
wanna
with
s-
holes in them, and when you're like slipping around in other people's blood, it gets emotional. Yeah, I wouldn't.
I understand that.
I think we have to do a couple of things. the President of the United States today did the first thing that I've been able to applaud him for. And that is, did you see that? Did you read that? He is proposing essentially everything that the Democrats have been saying that we should do.
You can be sure he will walk those back before the election.
That's the problem. I'm afraid that you're correct. The last time he did something that I applauded was the DACA thing, when he initially said, yeah, we got to give those DACA kids a break. Let's to get that done. And then 2 days later, he backed away from it. Today, or yesterday, I should say, he said that we should do a number of things. One, create an age limit.
Right.
Two,
9 months away from election.
Two, create a system of background checks for everybody, even at gun shows. Three, what else did he say? He said, he still wants to train more people.
Right, but let's get back to the...
Also, three, this was the one that I liked. He wants to spend money at schools. For instance, we need locks in the school that we can lock our rooms from the inside. We need new locks that cost money. I think if Mr. Trump is true to his word yesterday, we're going to have money for those locks pretty soon. And I think that's a good thing.
I wouldn't count on it, because he's got to...
You wouldn't count on it? I thought he's your man.
Well, again, rather than othering somebody, I think in a discussion with somebody, it's probably better not to, make claims of association. I might not be a pro-Trumper, but let's just say I'm an anti-Trumper.
Well, first of all, I have a problem with this question because I should tell you right off the bat, I'll be perfectly honest. I am one of those people who thinks the fact that that guy is President of the United States is, I can't even think of the words. That man deserves to be President of the United States as much as I deserve to be King of the universe. Do you understand? I think, for my money, it should be impossible to be President of the United States if you're a racist, if you're a misogynist, if you're a xenophobe. It's a country of immigrants. And I have not heard anybody convince me that Mr. Trump is not a racist. I happened to be living in New York back in the 70s, early 70s, when he and his dad got sued by the federal government and had to pay $25 million for violations of equal access to housing. They had property, they had houses, they had buildings, they had apartments. They would not rent them or sell them to black or brown people.
Yeah,
that was the first time that I got wind of somebody like Mr. Trump, right? I'm a young guy, and I'm thinking I'm living in New York.
We're getting a little off topic. We're supposed to be rating him and how he did in his first year.
I can't even. Sucks.
Okay.
Sucks.
So that would be a low number?
That would be a negative number. that would be a negative number. I can think. That the man in this first year, I read
zero.
I came out of. I read in a that terrible liberal newspaper, the New York Times, said something like, in his first 10 months, Trump told as many falsehoods as Obama did during his entire 8-year presidency.
The New York Times said that?
The New York Times, yeah. I know that you don't subscribe.
Well,
you're nice because
I'm sure you could find another publication
by the way,
that would...
you could find, yes, you could, a number of publications could say, PolitiFact for once.
Rather than making charges, let's get back to specifics for the 1 year that he's been in office.
One of the first things he did in office was to take away the monies for mental health care. Did you remember that when he first came? He wrote an executive order, and here we are in the throes of
I think I know what you're talking about, but I have to...
Yeah, in the throes of another person in need of care who didn't get it.
I think that had something to do with the regulation involved with it. It's a little bit more extensive than that.
We need more money for the care of people, for the care of mentally handicapped, mentally challenged
I don't want to
people.
challenge you on that directly now, but I understand it was part of
Do we need more money for that?
Wait, I don't want to get pigeonholed here into that one topic. The idea is to rate him overall for the year.
All right, so here's another idea.
Can I get a turn here?
Well, you want, let me finish reading here a second. Let's go, and our standing around the world.
Yeah.
Mr. Trump has managed to scare the bejesus out of the world.
Out of Bashad?
He's managed to
Bashar
scare
Assad, the Syrian president?
world.
The Syrian president?
Nuclear, by bringing the specter of nuclear war to our tables, like if it was like
The specter has been there, but whether it's been brushed under the table or if it's been brought to the
for
forefront
goodness
is actual
sakes.
discussion.
Everyone who has nuclear weapons, almost, with the exception of our little friend in North Korea, has been trying wholeheartedly, year after year. The former Soviet Union and then the Russians, been writing treaties with. We've been reducing our nuclear arsenals
Yeah.
for years and years and years. And along comes Mr. Trump. Not only does he not want to reduce them, he wants to increase them. He wants shorter missiles. He wants less lethal missiles. He wants more lethal missiles.
So let's talk about
We're talking about
an actual-
nuclear war.
right, but
And then
but you talked about standing in the world. Let me give you a little different perspective on that, if I may.
They're laughing at him.
There are a lot of people who suggest that Mr. Obama, while he was in reign, that he was
Well, he was elected.
when he was in power, when he was the head of diplomat for the United States, that he was not doing a very good job of making sure that when he says I'm going to stand up to this, that he actually stood up to it. Remember the red line in Syria?
Yes, I agree 100%.
And he did,
Obama was a bit of a
he actually allowed
he
the
was
Russians
a bit of a weakling.
into Syria.
I'm with you.
Mr. Cicero, I'm going to ask you to let Mr. Richards talk, and we can please stop.
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
agreeing with him.
Yeah,
Oh.
he actually allowed the Russians to get into Syria and do some of the gassing of the Syrians there, and
Does Russia's gas the Syrians?
the Russians had something to do with it.
That's a first for me.
Yeah, they at least allowed that to happen.
I thought it was Assad who gassed his own people.
But it was it was definitely Assad, but there was some Russian technicians involved and so forth. But anyway, the Libya.
I think
initially
they got the gas from here.
Well, I'm not sure which actual scientists put the brew together, but
They got the gas from
I'm
the
sure
West.
some of the parts were. But there's a different opinion that perhaps Mr. Trump has actually done a little bit better job of showing the big stick, and that therefore there maybe is a little bit more stability in the world anyway. But
I don't know
on
who
the-
you're listening
on
to
the-
because on that score, everyone I know is freaked out.
Well, what I do, Emmanuel, is I read the New York Times, the Washington Post.
I read the National Review.
And I also read that. I
Wall
read
Street
all
Journal,
those.
yeah.
I read both sides,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I come up with my own opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
As a matter of fact, so we're on the same page. I have voted for Democratic, Independent, and Republican presidents.
I didn't vote, by the way. Here,
you?
so we're on the same page. I gotta tell you, because of the same reason that you said, I did not vote for Obama the second time around. I voted for Jill Stein.
Have you ever voted for a Republican?
Yes, I have. We used to have a great congressperson over when I lived in
No, I
Cortland.
mean for president.
For President of the United States, no. A duly
Can-
elected president.
I'm gonna ask you to finish your thoughts.
Yeah,
Okay,
can I
yeah.
finish up on some things that not about the person, because everything the lout says I don't agree with, but some of the policies that have come about as a result of Mr. Trump being in office. I'll just give you a few lists,
We have
a few
about
things.
60 seconds left.
He's cut taxes, he rolled back regulations, he's put ISIS on its heels. The economy and stock market are humming along again despite recent turmoil. Leaving the Paris Climate Accord, I think he announced that
That's a
we're
good thing,
gonna I think, yeah, because that accord was actually a weight on any kind of serious environmental concerns. Repealing net neutrality, done, okay. Reshaping national monuments and opening up gas reserves. One time, Mr. Obama said we can't
I
drill
love
our
that
way
euphemism.
out of an energy.
Reshaping national monuments. That's a lovely way to put that.
Yep.
That's a reshaping, closing down national monuments.
I'm gonna thank you for your time.
Okay.
This video has flown
Thank
by.
you very much for putting us on.
Yeah. If you enjoyed yourself, then maybe.
Thank you,
Sure.
my friend.
Thanks, Emmanuel.
Sure.